Hello one and all, Martin Shave Tests, and I've got a new toy to play with. I really would like for you to see how wonderful shavettes can be as an entry level into proper shaving. First of all, this came through the post. This is an original Kismet German shavette. Came with one blade inside it and 6 unused stainless steel blades. I was a little unsure because in its description, because it showed it with its guard on, and I thought, oh, I wonder if that comes off, which of course it does. Look, there you go. And now you've got, in effect, a WEC style shavette. Here's the best part. Look at the length of the blade. That is the same length of blade as on a decent straight razor. Also, you can strop it and you can hand strop it and you can leather strop it should you wish. And you can still get these blades. So I would say for someone who's a little bit concerned about using stones and perhaps stropping generally, an entry into straight razor shaving would be a Kismet. Anyway, I'm going to compare it also to my lovely Filly14 from Jack in America. And that one, which I haven't yet started to improve, is a very, very, very good razor. But there's a few little tiny things I want to improve on it. Anyway, that will go against this. But also, because I'm slightly barking mad, I'm also going to compare it to a feather. What I would say is the feather, you can't do a hanging hair test anywhere near as well because the guards, as you can see, go rather oblique to the blade. So you can't really do a very good hanging hair test, but they're blissfully good blades. These are the feather professional blades. Anyway, let's try what this rather strange Kismet does. And of course, my test piece will always be a good Philharmonica. Anyway, I'll shut up and get on. And this is exciting. I'm rather pleased. So it's Sunday morning. I'm going to use the Mei Chang again for a simple reason. It covered the smell of the dead badger. So why anybody would use, I know each to their own. I'm pontificating somewhat here. But I would honestly say I'm not very happy with the smell and the bristle feel of natural bristles. I've tried the boar's bollocks bristles. I know there are supremely expensive and I'm sure supremely good badger brushes out there, but I don't intend spending the best part of 200 quid to find out. Anyway, or more. Anyway, let's go back to using a decent, humane brush. Can't go wrong with a synthetic. They're cheap, they're reliable, and they don't smell. Whereas if you like the smell of old dead dog, I would say stick to a nice cheap Chinese badger. They probably did terrible things to the poor bloody thing because the Chinese have no law in their country against animal cruelty. If you buy anything that's an animal product from China, like their puppies and their cats, hung upside down, beaten before being scolded alive and eaten. So bless them. Anyway, enough of that. This is actually a very nice brush and a very nice lather. And it does have a very gentle aroma. I can't describe it because at the moment I'm developing a cold and my nasal passages are not at their best. However, that's a good enough lather. I can't wait to try out these things. This is so exciting. This is why straight razor shaving is such a blast. Anyway, I don't know the exact date on this. They're German made, the Kismets. Extremely well made, naturally. The only thing I would say is I might modify this little knob on the top, which is used, as you can imagine, for removing the blade. The blade's removed like that, and push back. So let's have a see, let's have a try. Dry the fingers always, chaps, which I just didn't do. Dry the fingers. First time I've ever used one, so bear with me. This is the Kismet Shavette. Ooh, nice. Ooh, I do approve. Johan, of course, last did a shave with a Kismet blade. Badger and Blade, one of the best channels you can possibly find, and Johan is a consummate expert, though only recently into honing his own blades. Whereas of course I've got an sort of engineering background, and I was always keen to hone my own blades and tomahawks and hunting knives and fighting knives. Yeah, this is nice. I've got to say, this is probably better than I expected. It's noisy. Not sharp. But it's much more like using a proper straight edge. For the simple reason, if I can wipe some stuff off it, for the simple reason, yeah, look at all that. For the simple reason that it has exactly the same look, exactly the same size as a small 5/8 razor. So I'm very comfortable with it. Yep, that's good. Johan did mention that they're very sharp. Well, they are razors. Yeah, I like it. So, for an entry level, you couldn't do better than this. Let me stop now I've done that side with a single pass, and let me just try as a comparison, because we know how good Filly14 is. I'm going back to my once used only feather Shavette. First thing you notice is these are much heavier. The weight's slightly out of proportion. It's nose heavy. And also the grind on this particular style of Shavette is not the best. The blade edge behind it has a shoulder, and I wouldn't say that's ideal, but I've got a better one coming. I've got a DX. Yeah, this is good. I'm always surprised with a feather blade how incredibly smooth they are. It doesn't have the resounding ring and sound of the little German fellow. The Kismet, I've even got all the instructions, look. The Kismet is louder and much closer to a deep, hollow ground 5/8 razor. But all I do know is both are extremely good at removing stubble. So that's what it's all about. At the moment, without doubt, the winner is the Kismet. I'm leaving a little area here so we can try the Filly14, which is only fair. The Filly14 is just, it's just beyond compare. Oh yeah. But in all fairness, the Kismet's sharper. Somebody mentioned on one of our wonderful razor groups that to learn a big blade is actually easier because you can control the angle. I would say that's true. I've used them all. I would still say, for choice, I go for a big blade. However, let me go back to the Kismet. I'm rather pleased with this. yeah, I've got to get rid of this little plastic knob thing. The angle's quite easy to control. Yep. Apart from this rather odd extractor knob, which is a white nylon and gets in my way, I'd say this is an ideal entry into straight razor shaving for those who don't want to go through the learning, very pleasant learning process, but the learning process of stropping and obviously eventually honing. But of course, if you hone and strop your own razors, that's the pleasure in itself. But if you're going for something like a safety razor, then of course I would strongly recommend that you stop being a wuss and use these. Yeah, that's lovely. What a lovely little blade. So it's weightless, it's incredibly sharp, and listen to it cut. That's 2 days of stubble being shorn away there. I would still say I'll never convert away from a good Filly14 or any other similar. But of course nothing compares to a good tomahawk. We'll be doing one of those later. Yeah, so what can I say? I would say that for ease of practice, this little kismet has of course the singular advantage, I was just washing the soap off, of being able to hand strop and leather strop. I did actually give it 20 strokes just to find out what it was like on my Kaneyama leather. I can't say it improved the edge was already very, very sharp. But certainly, if you've got a limited supply of these little kismet blades, I see no reason why they shouldn't be stropped. So hand stropping, yeah, you couldn't do that really on the feather. Not that you'd want to. When my Feather DX arrives, which Florin has, Zen Razor, has so beautifully engraved for me, I couldn't believe it. The skill of some people, particularly Florin. But I've got to say, why anybody would have used a double-edged so-called safety razor, these are vastly good, really, really superior. Like all things, it's down to muscle memory and practice. Yeah, I'm blown away. Absolutely blown away. This is wonderful. But it doesn't detract from the fact that it's flimsy, it's lightweight, it's semi-disposable, meaning the blades. Beautiful little nylon cartridge. I've got to say, everything about it is very nice quality, but it is very, very light. It has a slightly tinny feel, whereas the feather is far more solid. And as for the Filly14, well, even if you've never watched my channel before and have only just started thinking about straight razors, yeah, a good straight razor will beat anything. This is the surprise to me. There's so many channels out there with people using safety razors, bless them, when they could be doing this. Oh, nah, sorry, this is still, the Filly's still better. Its feel is completely different. Very hard to describe the feel of a good, solid blade, but this is the king of the blades. And it's magnificent. Any angle you like, any test you like. A good straight razor with a good edge on it. Anyway, chaps, you know all this. I'm just trying to convert a few people from other forms of shaving into proper shaving. And once you've had a few shaves with a good straight razor, you'll never go back to anything else, ever. No irritation, perfect control. The finest detail you can touch up with one of these, whereas you can't with the safety. But for those who are so brave out there as to shave their heads, well, that's another level. I've seen them do it, I wouldn't. Anyway, right, I'm going to shut up. That's a wonderful test. So here we are. Let's go over it one more time. Filly14 Novador, probably 1950s. Kismet from Germany. Incredible piece of clever engineering. Very lightweight, very, very sharp. Does a wonderful job. Easily replaceable blades, as you can see. A little bit flimsy. Perhaps a Wenk is better. But I would honestly say, I would still say for a really smooth, rigid shave, you cannot beat a feather professional. But I'm not happy with this shape. I've got a better one coming. So I'm going to leave you in peace, chaps. It's Sunday morning. I'm going to do the famous regenerate your skin test. Dapper Shaves, Jacques, who is a master on shaving and on natural stones. Slap it on, and that will regenerate your skin. This particular Mei Chang, I would recommend. Very nice stuff, actually. As I've got a slight, as you can probably hear in my voice, a very slight infection in my throat. Yeah, I can't really shout about the aroma. Yeah, that works very nicely. Wipe it all off. I'm not going to bother putting on an alum block. This is a perfect shave. Absolutely perfect. No irritation, no weepers, no cuts, no nothing. So, chaps, I'll leave you in peace. Thanks for subscribing to my channel. And this is Martin's Test Shaves. I'm trying to get people interested and using straight razors. I'm all about the steel. See ya. Bye for now.